Good morning, BookTube. I'm Sean the Book Maniac. Welcome back to my channel. Here you see me in my Monday morning glory. It is about 8 a.m. in Tokyo on Monday morning, and I decided to do another vlog, what normal people call a vlog. This will be about my Monday, which is a day that I typically don't get a lot of reading done, even though I have quite a lot of free time. And it's because I've had terrible Monday morning insomnia for a couple years, ever since I started a new 3-hour teaching gig that starts on Monday morning at 10 a.m. and goes till 1 p.m. basically. And even though the job is a very comfortable, lovely job, it is a bit grueling, 3 hours without a break. But otherwise, the students, all senior citizens, are wonderful, and I have no complaints whatsoever. I have been waking up on Monday mornings at around 3 or 4 o'clock and never getting back to sleep. So after this morning gig ends, I have about a 5-hour break, but I come home, have lunch, and crash for a couple hours, wake up around 5 p.m., and then teach for an hour or so from 6 p.m., and I'm done. So it's a pretty light day work-wise, but I'm always exhausted. And other than doing some audiobooks on the trains and a little bit of reading at night, and I will do some reading when I get home tonight, that's all I really have time for. In the meantime, I'm just going to take you with me today and share some vloggy thoughts. I hope to read another chapter of this. This just won't let go of me. And it's the kind of book that, and I know I'm weird in this reading habit, but when I find myself engaging this deeply with a novel, particularly a chunkster, I slow right down. So I'm not sure that I will finish this in 2017. It takes me, the chapters are short, but I read it so slowly and just sop it up that it takes me, the chapters are 10 pages or whatever, and it seems to take me the better part of an hour, and I'm just loving it. So I started this one on audio yesterday. Ishiguro's most recent novel, I believe, The Buried Giant, and I don't know if chapter in, or not even a chapter, 16 pages in on audio. I'm not following along on the text, but I had the book, and the audio narration is really great, and yeah, it's interesting so far. I am still really enjoying this, but I'm having some reservations. I saw Peg's comments on her channel today, and that doesn't bode well for how I'm ultimately going to react. She's talked about how there's some horrific things that happen early, which I haven't got to, but I have my suspicions about what they might be, that are treated comedically, and I don't do well with that, depending on what the issue is. But for right now, I've just finished yesterday the chapter where Cyril's adoptive father, who's going on trial for some kind of corruption, has just entertained 4 of the jurors, which of course he's not supposed to do, in his home for an evening to impress the hell out of them. And it made me laugh out loud, which I almost never do in fiction. We'll see. He's so like John Irving, hey? And John Irving is really hit or miss, mostly miss for me, aside from his one. I liked Garp, but I don't remember much about it, The World According to Garp. But the one that I loved is A Prayer for Owen Meany. Now that one had an emotional resonance to it that nothing else I've read by him has, and I'm worried that this is going to go in the same direction, and so I may bail, depending on how I react, because it is a big book. But for right now, all I can say is I'm really, really enjoying it. I was hoping to get to Mavis this morning. It just didn't happen. And I'm loving this, and I was hoping to have finished it yesterday, but again, I'm loving it too much to read it fast. So that's just the way I read. I read a lot. I read a lot of books in a month on average, and who cares? You may notice that when I do my wrap-up videos, I don't put a number. I don't name how many. You can count if you want, but I've just trying to distance myself from that. I'm not going to have a Goodreads reading target next year. For me, it's stupid. This is a short little novel. I'm doing it for a buddy read. There's a bunch of other novels I'm doing a couple BookTube buddy reads starting later this week, and so I need to finish this and the Barbara Pym to make room for those, because I only want to have 5 print books on the go, as many other audiobooks as I think I can handle, but only 5 print. So I need to finish this and the Barbara Pym, but I'm loving them both so much that I'm kind of refusing to obey my own timeline. So we'll see how it all works out. All right, time for me to shower, and what do you think? Maybe shave and start my day. Hey again, well, I'm at the little local neighborhood where I teach. I'm not going to say the name of it just because I'm going to say a couple bitchy things and don't want that to come back and bite me on the butt someday. Not about the students or anything, but I knew it was going to only be a matter of time before I started to bitch about things I don't like about Japan, so here's maybe the first time I've done that on this channel. It's too clean. They are too ridiculous about cleaning everything neurotically. So the example is this community center. It's an ugly old community center. I don't know how old it is, but it's really aesthetically unpleasing. But they have a full-time maid, and she cleans everything once an hour, every part of the building. And she cleans the men's washroom on the hour every time I have my one class finished. So I can't use the bathroom because I'm too shy. In Japan, the culture is female staff clean the men's room toilets. They also clean the men's locker rooms at the gym or in the onsen. And that is something I cannot and will not ever get used to. So I refuse to go to the into a washroom when there's a cleaning lady in there. So I have to usually make do for 3 hours, or actually duck out of my classroom while it's in session just so I can. But it's like, it's ridiculous. They're cleaning. And there's some waiting tables in the lounge here, and I usually arrive early. And one day the cleaning lady, she was sweeping under my table and banging her broom against my feet, and I was just looking at it like, do you really have to do this right now? Oh, the other thing about the bathroom here, it's a horrible old bathroom, and they leave the doors open. That's another custom. Bathroom, public toilet doors are left open, so anybody walking by can see me standing at the urinal. Well, these are not inducements to a felicitous discharge, let me tell you. So I always shut the door when I go in, and then I think that's alienated the maid because she has to open it again. It's like, oh my God. Anyway, other than that, I love Japan for today, and there's a little shrine nearby. I think I have enough time to take you there. Anyway, it's pretty. I'm going to take you for a quick walk by before I go to class. I just arrived here at Musashi Kogane Station, and everybody was standing around downstairs. I might take you back down there to show you. But I recognized the phenomenon immediately. There's been an earthquake. It's not big. I just checked Twitter, and it was way up in Hokkaido, I think, and it was a 5.8. Now, the Japanese have a different system than the rest of the world, so I don't know if it's the Japanese system or the rest of the world system, but a 5.8 in international on the Richter scale is not that big. I didn't feel anything. It happened about 15 minutes ago. I think I didn't feel a thing, but it's almost 1:40, and the train. Oh, I'm got the thing backwards. The trains are late, so that may mean that I don't get home at a decent hour, which is not the worst thing in the world. But I'll show you what it looks like downstairs. If this. Yeah, I'll show you downstairs because it's really quite stunning. Look at all the people standing around on their phones in group like this. You'd never see this. As soon as I see this in a train station, I know there's been a disaster. Like, this is not natural. And of course, I don't speak Japanese well enough, so I'm just relying on English Twitter, but this is the sign of a... So I don't know if there's more news that I'm not aware of, so I'm gonna have to send a message to Kenji and find out what's going on. So okay, well, it took me about 20 minutes to sort it all out, and it's kind of a sad story. There's two unrelated events. There was a 6.1 earthquake off the coast of Fukushima, where the big one was 5 or 6 years ago, and I wondered, why is the train stopped? It's so far away from here, and I didn't feel anything. But sadly, there was another tragedy right here, apparently at this station. My cousin who speaks fluent Japanese, checked the Japanese app, which told her there was a suicide at this train station very recently, minutes ago, an hour ago. So that happens a lot, and there was nothing that I could see on my track, but it must have been on another track. And maybe it wasn't this station, but this line close to here anyway, somebody jumped in front of a train. Now, it happens dozens of times a day, or a dozen times a day. I've never seen it, in any sort of gory way, but it's a fact of life here. And it's kind of like Mrs. Dalloway when she finds out about the soldier's suicide. It just kind of really sobers you up, eh? So I'm going to be stuck here for a while, and I'm going to have some lunch at this little bakery shop. I had my heart set on having some ramen at Sasazuka, but this could be an hour before they clear the tracks. They, in an attempt to dissuade people from committing suicide this way, they charge the families $3,000 for the cleanup expense, thinking that might prevent people from forcing their parents to pay. But it doesn't work very well, because there's a lot of... It's just unbelievable. Some of the lines have put up sliding doors, which prevents suicide completely on their lines, but other lines are too cheap and they don't, or for whatever, I guess they're just too cheap. So there's no barrier to just jumping in front of a train. It's... I have no words, but I have to eat, so... We'll end on that profound note. Hey there, well, it's almost 3:30, so I've got an hour to nap. I didn't get as much nap time today because of the unfortunate incident with the train. So it did a little bit of a number on me. Not much, I have to be honest. It's such a regular occurrence that I don't get all emotionally worked up every time there's a suicide that interrupts my day. But it is sobering. So I haven't done much. Did a little bit of audio. Can't put two thoughts together to talk about it. I'll talk to you after my nap.
Come on, come on, baby. 占ってよ恋するフォーチュンクッキー未来はそんな悪くないよ Hey, hey, hey 月を呼ぶには笑顔を見せること後でフォーチュンクッキー運勢今日よりもよくしよう Hey, hey, hey Hey, hey, hey 人生捨てたもんじゃないよねあと驚く奇跡が起きるあなたがどこかで愛し合えるよだあなたにちゃん
Okay, I'm here at Mitsukashimai Station in the basement. It's named after a Mitsukashimai department store, which is also right there behind me. It's a very, very expensive and historical and famous Japanese department store. I'm about to show you a famous work of historical art in Japan. It's called the Jidai Shodan. What I'm about to show you is a replica. The original is actually in a museum in Berlin, which is really strange, but that's where it is. So this is a replica. It's a 17-meter tapestry created by some unknown painter in 1805, depicting street life in Edo, Tokyo, basically on the street right up above us. And it's quite stunning. So I'll give you a quick little tour. Okay, I mean, the truth is that I can go days living here and forget that I'm actually in Japan because it's not consciously on my mind or whatever. I've taken to you and shown you some very Japanese things today, but here's one. The first time I saw it, I thought, oh my god, I live in Japan. It's a Japanese fan shop. Look at the display. There's the name, Ibasen. Look at this. Isn't that just gorgeous? I bet you they're very expensive. Those little prints aren't bad. They're about 10 bucks. And that big folding screen, that's not big, it's tiny, but the folding screens, they're about $25. So no, it's not as pricey as I thought, but aren't they gorgeous? Yes, okay, time to go to work. Hey again, well, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm home, it's about 8:30 at night. I'm completely knackered. I just did about an hour's worth of reading and enjoyed it, but too tired to put two thoughts together to talk about it. I probably have enough energy to finish editing my 10 books tag video and get it up overnight, but this one will go up in the next day or two. I had a lot of fun making it. I think you have that much more of a sense of what my daily life is like and what Tokyo life can be like. So thanks for stopping by.